How to motivate yourself when life gets hard. Life is a journey filled with ups and downs. We often imagine progress as a straight line toward our goals, but the reality is far more complicated. There are seasons of joy, achievement, and ease, followed by periods of hardship, loss, and discouragement. During those difficult times, motivation can seem like a distant flame, almost impossible to reach. Yet it is in these very moments that self-motivation becomes most crucial. Learning how to motivate yourself when life gets hard is not only a survival skill, but also the key to growth, resilience, and ultimate success. The nature of hardship. Every individual experiences hardship, though its form varies. For one person, hardship might be the burden of debt. For another, it may be a chronic illness, the betrayal of a close friend, or the failure of a lifelong dream. What unites these experiences is the emotional weight they carry. Hardship often brings fear, sadness, frustration, or a feeling of helplessness. Yet hardship is not simply an obstacle, it is also a teacher. Philosophers and psychologists alike have emphasized that adversity can strengthen character. Friedrich Nietzsche famously said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." While this phrase has been quoted so often that it risks sounding cliché, modern psychological research supports it. Studies on resilience suggest that people who face adversity and learn to cope effectively often emerge with greater emotional strength, empathy, and self-awareness. Understanding hardship as a universal and transformative experience is the first step toward motivating ourselves through it. It shifts our perception from seeing struggle as a punishment to viewing it as an opportunity for growth. Understanding motivation in hard times. Motivation is commonly misunderstood. Many believe it is a sudden burst of inspiration that comes from nowhere. In reality, motivation is not purely emotional. It is deeply tied to discipline, habits, and mindset. Psychologists distinguish between extrinsic motivation, driven by external rewards such as money or recognition, and intrinsic motivation, driven by internal values, passions, and purpose. When life is easy, extrinsic motivators may be enough to keep us moving. But in difficult times, external rewards often lose their appeal. This is when intrinsic motivation becomes crucial. Connecting to our deeper values and long-term vision gives us the strength to persist even when immediate circumstances are discouraging. Consider Viktor Frankl, the Austrian neurologist and Holocaust survivor, who wrote in Man's Search for Meaning that people can endure almost any how if they have a strong enough why. His experiences in concentration camps showed that those who survived the unimaginable were often those who had found meaning in their suffering, whether through love, faith, or responsibility. Thus, in times of hardship, motivation must be reframed as an intentional practice rather than a spontaneous feeling. It is about creating reasons to keep moving forward, even when enthusiasm is absent. Shifting perspective. From problem to possibility. When challenges strike, the natural human reaction is to fixate on the problem. Our thoughts become consumed by what went wrong, why life is unfair, or how hopeless the situation feels. While this response is understandable, it often magnifies the pain and paralyzes us. Motivation can only be cultivated by shifting perspective from the problem itself to the possibility hidden within it. Reframing adversity does not mean denying pain or pretending everything is fine. Rather, it means asking constructive questions. What can I learn from this? How can this experience make me stronger? What small opportunity can emerge from this setback? History offers powerful examples. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, yet emerged with not only his spirit intact, but also a vision to unite a divided nation. His hardship became the soil from which his leadership grew. Similarly, J.K. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book while living on welfare as a single mother. Instead of giving in to despair, she used her struggles as fuel for creativity, eventually becoming one of the world's most influential authors. These stories remind us that hardship often contains the seeds of possibility. By shifting our mindset, we transform obstacles into opportunities. The power of small wins. One of the greatest barriers to motivation during hard times is the overwhelming nature of problems. When everything feels heavy, even the simplest tasks can seem impossible. This is why breaking goals into small, achievable steps is such a powerful tool. Psychologists refer to this as the principle of small wins. By focusing on manageable actions, we create momentum. Completing a task, even something as simple as cleaning a room, exercising for 10 minutes, or writing a single page, produces a sense of accomplishment. This small success builds confidence, which in turn fuels further action. The concept is supported by behavioral science. Charles Duhigg, in his book The Power of Habit, explains how small habits compound into major changes over time. Success is rarely the result of one massive effort, but rather the accumulation of consistent, incremental steps. For example, someone struggling with depression may not feel motivated to overhaul their entire life, but committing to one small act, getting out of bed, making breakfast, or taking a short walk, can spark momentum. Over time, these small wins can lead to profound transformation, transforming pain into fuel. Pain is an inevitable part of life, but its impact depends on how we interpret it. Some allow pain to define them as victims, while others use it as a catalyst for resilience. Athletes often embody this principle. Consider Michael Jordan, who was cut from his high school basketball team. Instead of giving up, he used the pain of rejection as motivation to work harder, eventually becoming one of the greatest athletes in history. Similarly, Oprah Winfrey endured poverty and trauma in her early life, but transformed her struggles into empathy and determination, building a media empire that inspires millions. The key lies in perspective. Instead of asking, "Why me?" we can ask, "What is this teaching me?" Pain can either break us or build us, depending on the meaning we assign to it. By reframing suffering as preparation rather than punishment, we turn pain into fuel for growth. The importance of environment motivation does not thrive in isolation. The people and environments we surround ourselves with play a critical role in shaping our mindset. Negative influences, such as toxic relationships, constant criticism, or a pessimistic culture, drain energy and diminish hope. Conversely, supportive communities, uplifting mentors, and inspiring content foster resilience. Research in social psychology shows that humans are profoundly influenced by their social circles. Surrounding ourselves with individuals who embody perseverance, optimism, and growth makes it easier to internalize those traits. Likewise, limiting exposure to negativity protects our motivation from unnecessary erosion. In practical terms, this might mean joining a support group, reading biographies of resilient leaders, listening to motivational podcasts, or simply spending more time with friends who encourage us. Motivation multiplies when shared within a community of encouragement. Reconnecting with your why. When life becomes overwhelming, reconnecting with one's deeper purpose is essential. Motivation without meaning is fragile. Asking, "Why am I doing this? Who am I doing it for?" provides an anchor in turbulent times. For some, the why may be family, the desire to provide a better future for children. For others, it may be a dream, a personal mission, or faith in something greater than themselves. Whatever the source, this deeper purpose sustains effort when results are slow or invisible. Simon Sinek, in his book Start With Why, emphasizes that people and organizations who thrive are those driven by a compelling sense of purpose. In personal life, the same principle applies. Purpose transforms effort from a burden into a meaningful pursuit. Caring for the body and mind. Motivation is not purely mental, it is also physical. When the body is exhausted, malnourished, or neglected, sustaining motivation becomes far more difficult. Scientific studies confirm that exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate sleep all enhance mood, energy, and cognitive function. For example, exercise releases endorphins, natural chemicals that reduce stress and boost energy. Sleep consolidates memory and restores emotional balance. Mindfulness practices such as meditation and journaling provide clarity, helping us focus on solutions rather than problems. In times of hardship, caring for the body and mind is not indulgence but necessity. A strong foundation of health supports a resilient spirit. Choosing action over waiting. One of the greatest misconceptions about motivation is that it must precede action. In truth, the reverse is often true. Action generates motivation. By taking even a small step forward, we create momentum, which fuels further effort. This principle is illustrated in the concept of behavioral activation, a therapeutic technique often used to treat depression. Instead of waiting for energy or inspiration, patients are encouraged to engage in meaningful activities, which gradually improve mood and motivation. The same applies to everyday life. Waiting passively for motivation often leads to stagnation. Acting despite a lack of motivation sparks progress, which in turn reignites the very motivation we thought we lacked. Conclusion: hardship is an unavoidable part of life. While we cannot control every challenge, we can control our response to it. Motivation during difficult times is not about denying pain or pretending everything is fine. It is about choosing to rise despite difficulty, focusing on small wins, transforming pain into strength, surrounding ourselves with supportive influences, and reconnecting with our deeper purpose. Ultimately, motivation is less about emotion and more about discipline. It is the daily choice to move forward, one step at a time, even when the path is steep. The moments when life feels hardest are often the moments that shape our character the most. When life gets hard, remember that you are not powerless. You have within you the ability to reframe challenges, to act in small but meaningful ways, to turn pain into fuel, and to anchor yourself in purpose. As long as you choose to keep moving, no matter how slowly, you are building resilience and preparing for a brighter future. Motivation is not a distant flame. It is a fire you can ignite within yourself, even in the darkest night.